Best and worst US presidents based on their performance.
What makes a president great or terrible?
Is it how they handle the crisis, how the economy performed, or maybe the way they brought the country together or tore it apart? In this video, we're gonna break it down with one simple goal. Help you understand which US presidents actually delivered results and which ones left behind more problems than they solved. This isn't about popularity, it's not about party lines, it's about leadership, performance, and real impact on the country. And believe me, you're going to be surprised by who's on this list. Let's start with the ranking of the worst performing presidents from number 5 to the absolute worst. Then we'll jump into the best, the ones whose leadership truly changed history. Stay until the end because the most shocking entry is yet to come.
Worst performing U.S. presidents.
5. Warren G. Harding. Warren G. Harding entered office with promises of a return to normalcy after World War I. But instead, his presidency is remembered for scandal, mismanagement, and a hands-off leadership style that led to serious consequences. The Teapot Dome scandal, one of the biggest political corruption cases in American history, happened under his watch. He trusted the wrong people. Many of his appointees were later charged with crimes, and although Harding himself wasn't directly involved, the lack of oversight damaged the credibility of the White House. Even supporters admit his leadership was weak, and his sudden death in office left behind chaos. And if you think this sounds bad, wait until you hear number 1. 4. Herbert Hoover. The Great Depression didn't start with Hoover, but his failure to act made it much worse. When the stock market crashed in 1929, Hoover's response was slow and cautious. He believed the economy would fix itself. He resisted federal intervention, and that decision deepened the crisis for millions of Americans. Unemployment skyrocketed. Banks failed. Families lost their homes. To this day, economists cite Hoover's presidency as a textbook case of what not to do during a financial collapse. 3. Franklin Pierce. Few presidents did more damage in such a short time. Franklin Pierce's presidency helped push the country towards civil war. He supported the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which effectively repealed the Missouri Compromise and opened new territories to slavery. This decision led to violence in Bleeding Kansas and inflamed divisions between North and South. Historians often describe him as indecisive and easily influenced by pro-slavery interests. His failure to unite the country or take a stand against growing extremism puts him firmly on this list. 2. Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson became president after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. But instead of continuing Lincoln's vision of reconciliation and reconstruction, Johnson's actions set the country back. He vetoed civil rights legislation. He opposed the 14th Amendment, and he actively worked to block protections for newly freed slaves. Johnson's presidency was so divisive that Congress impeached him the first time in US history a president faced impeachment. Many historians rank him among the worst because he failed to lead during one of the most critical turning points in American history. 1. James Buchanan. And here it is, the worst performing president based on historical consensus. James Buchanan did almost nothing as the country spiraled toward civil war.
Southern states seceded under his watch.
He believed the federal government had no right to stop them, a decision that historians widely criticize as cowardly and passive. Buchanan's inaction left Abraham Lincoln with a country already falling apart. His leadership, or lack of it, is seen as one of the biggest failures in presidential history. Now that we've covered the worst, let's shift gears, because there are presidents whose leadership changed the course of history. And the most impressive name on this list might not be the one you expect.
Best performing U.S. presidents.
5. Theodore Roosevelt.
Charisma, courage, reform.
Theodore Roosevelt brought all three to the White House. He challenged powerful corporations, broke up monopolies, and fought for fairness in business.
His Square Deal protected consumers, regulated railroads, and set the stage for modern progressive policies.
He was also a champion of conservation, creating national parks and protecting over 200 million acres of public land. Roosevelt proved that a president could be both bold and effective, and his leadership reshaped what Americans expected from the presidency.
4. Dwight Eisenhower.
Many people remember Eisenhower as a war hero, but his performance as president was just as impressive. He managed a booming post-war economy, built the interstate highway system, and kept the US out of major conflicts during the Cold War. His calm, steady leadership helped the country navigate a tense period without falling into panic or overreaction. And his warning about the military-industrial complex remains one of the most insightful messages ever delivered by a president. Eisenhower led with discipline, strategy, and long-term vision.
3. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt served longer than any other US president, and for good reason. He led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. His New Deal programs redefined the role of government in American life, offering jobs, security, and hope when people needed it most. And during the war, his leadership was essential to building the Allied strategy that ultimately led to victory. Roosevelt didn't just manage crises, he transformed the country. Even his critics recognized the scale of his impact.
2.
Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln's leadership was nothing short of historic. He held the Union together during the Civil War, abolished slavery, and redefined the meaning of freedom in America. He faced incredible pressure, opposition, and loss, but he never lost sight of his vision, a new birth of freedom. His speeches, like the Gettysburg Address, remain among the most powerful in US history. And his legacy continues to shape the country more than 150 years later. So who could possibly top Abraham Lincoln? Let's find out.
1. George Washington.
Number 1 on this ranking, not just for what he did, but how he did it. George Washington didn't just become the first president, he defined what the presidency would be. He set the tone for leadership, neutrality, and peaceful transfer of power. He refused to become a king. He stepped down after 2 terms when he could have stayed for life. His decisions created the foundation of the American Republic, and his restraint, wisdom, and commitment to the Constitution remain a gold standard for leadership. Washington wasn't just the first, he was the right first.
So, what do you think?
Leadership isn't always about being popular. It's about making hard decisions, staying focused under pressure, and putting the country first. And when you look at the real track record of each president, the difference between success and failure becomes very clear. If you found this breakdown useful, here's what you can do next. Check out the description there, you'll find helpful resources and tools that can save you time and give you a deeper understanding of US history. And if you want more content like this, a like and a quick subscription goes a long way. Thanks for watching.